Well, at least there was dinosaurs.
1, 2, 3, 4. Then hell yeah. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times on the way.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Jeremy's Point of View. Here in today's episode, I'm going to be discussing with you guys the new Jurassic World Dominion movie. I went and saw it a couple days ago. Brought my 4-year-old to see his first movie in theaters. He is a huge fan of all the Jurassic Park, all the Jurassic World movies. Absolutely loves dinosaurs. I don't know if there's a toy that he does not own at this stage of the game. So me and my wife got a babysitter for our youngest one, and we took our 4-year-old to see it. And it was an experience. My son absolutely loved it, I will say that. He absolutely loved the movie, but my thoughts, I'll give you guys, my reaction to it here. Before we do that, please check out the sponsor, Arcadian, in the description box below. I've got all the information, including my promo code to save 10% off. Great soaps, body sprays, bath bombs, the whole nine. Fantastic products, so save 10% off using Jeremy POV10 as your code. Link below. Also, my Teespring store, you can find that in the description box below. Now, let's go ahead and dive into the review. So, Jurassic World Dominion is a movie, not necessarily a great movie, and to be honest, I've spent the last few days trying to think about and wrap my head around what it is that didn't allow this film to really succeed in my eyes. And going back and rewatching all the Jurassic Park, Jurassic World movies with my 4-year-old, it really occurred to me that the biggest difference between the first one and why it is so classic in comparison to this new film is that the first film is primarily based and revolves around being a disaster film. First and foremost, it is a disaster film with adventure film aspects. The dinosaurs are in cages. We're seeing this world for the first time. There's so many great things they do to set it up, get the dinosaurs out, and then attempting to survive. And it's all based around being a disaster film. Every subsequent film from then on really wasn't that. They were more adventure films. They were more, there was all these different plot threads and plot lines, especially in Jurassic World Dominion. Jurassic World Dominion is basically a movie where you could take the dinosaurs out of the film and you could still make it would still be a film. It doesn't need the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs have become dressing. They've become background characters. They've become things just to make our characters go from point A to point B. We need to be chased by this to get to here. That is really what the dinosaurs have become in this film. And I will say, some of the CGI in this film is fantastic. There was some that wasn't overly great. I thought the Atrociraptors looked a little sketchy to me. But the Giganotosaurus, or Giganotosaurus, however you want to pronounce it, I've seen it done going both ways, looked fantastic. Absolutely looked stunning. And when I did some more research on it, I did find that they actually had a life-size, a model for it. And I think that is what really separates it. When you go back and watch the original Jurassic Park, the T-Rex looks absolutely fantastic, and it's because they built a fully mechanical T-Rex. And they did that for the Giganotosaurus, which really helped and really set it above a lot of the other dinosaurs in the film. And like I said, some of the CGI was good, some of it wasn't, but I'm a guy that absolutely prefers practical effects above all else, and using CGI to improve on the practical effects that you have already used. But this film was basically, we had two plot threads going on. We had the old cast, Jeff Goldblum, Sam Neill, and their storyline, and we had the Jurassic World character storyline where we had Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard. And the problem with the film is, in a lot of ways, these two stories, as much as they come together at the end and we get a decent ending to the film, I thought some of the ending stuff was better than the earlier to mid portion of the film, which kind of dragged a little bit to me. It is a very long film. Almost 2.5 hours. So it definitely is a very, very long film, a bit bloated. This almost could have been two different films, to be perfectly honest with you. Not that I wanted to get two films out of this, or these two storylines, but basically the Chris Pratt storyline is a kidnapping film. That's what it is. And the old character's storyline is them trying to basically prove that this company, Biosyn, who's the big bad company in this, has created these locusts that are devouring and destroying crops, fields, and the entire food chain throughout the United States. So we've got these two conflicting storylines. We're bouncing back and forth, and overall the dinosaurs become window dressing until the very end, where we do get some scenes where we're trying to basically survive. It almost becomes a bit of a survival film. So the ending was probably the best part of the film, was the ending portions of it. You know, they kind of pigeonholed and forced this showdown between the T-Rex and the Giganotosaurus. I thought there was a better way to have set that up, but ultimately I think we all knew we were going to get something like that, and especially in these Jurassic World films, they feel the need to have some big showdown at the end. We had the Indominus and the T-Rex, and then the Mosasaurus comes in. In the last film, we had the Indoraptor with Blue coming in to kind of save the day. And then in this film, we get the Giganotosaurus against the T-Rex at the very end. The problem with these showdowns is that they're not as creative as the original trilogy. The original Jurassic Park had a perfect ending, perfect showdown with the T-Rexes and the Velociraptor, and the T-Rex comes in, saves the day. It's a great ending to a film, and it almost feels like since then every movie has tried to duplicate that in some way. And I will say Lost World has a very solid ending. It's not the best, but it's good, it's creative. Jurassic Park 3 also has a creative ending with the Spinosaurus, and to me that's kind of the ending. The whole thing with the raptors and the military arriving, don't even get me started on that. I could make an entire video about how much I hate the fact that the Marines and the Navy and everything shows up at the end of Jurassic Park 3. Jurassic Park 3 to me is actually a pretty solid film until you get to the ending. It's like they didn't know where else to go with it. They ran out of ideas, money, script, whatever, and they're like, the Navy shows up and everybody's okay. And it just ends. That's really, to me, what has been always so disappointing about Jurassic Park 3. But when we get into these new Jurassic World movies, the first one is probably the best ending out of them all. You get the Indominus Rex, you get the T-Rex released, the Mosasaurus comes out of nowhere. It's decent, it's mildly creative, but it's a good ending. The second movie, Fallen Kingdom, you know, there's nothing too crazy about that ending. I'm very conflicted about that film. I like the beginning of that film, and then when it turns into this in the house and sneaking around and almost becomes a bit of a horror movie that's not scary, that movie loses me at that point. And then in this film, it's basically they're taking what they did in Jurassic World and what they did in Jurassic Park, and we get the same ending. But the human characters almost don't have much to do in it. You just get this showdown, the two dinosaurs fight, this other dinosaur shows up, and I won't spoil anything else, but we do get a showdown. I won't tell you who wins, but it's not as good as the originals, ultimately. Ultimately, Jurassic World Dominion, I could probably talk about it for another half an hour if I really wanted to, but I'm going to try to shorten this review up a little bit for you guys. It is a mediocre film. It's an okay film. If you want to go, sit down, have some popcorn, and kind of just tune out, you might enjoy the film. You might enjoy it. If you just like seeing the dinosaurs, the spectacle, and you're not that focused on the story, or especially the new characters, and you kind of want to just see the old characters back, we do get the old characters. We do get them a decent amount of time throughout the film. I wish, honestly, we could have just focused on them the entire time, because they, to me, were the highlight of the film. I will say, and I want to give credit to Bryce Dallas Howard, her character was much improved in this film. She had a decent story arc, and I thought she really proved herself to be a much stronger character in this film than she had been in the prior films. And Chris Pratt, I'm actually a Chris Pratt fan. I enjoy his work. I loved him in Parks and Rec, but his character is he's just a guy that has made it through 3 movies, and he has some cool moments and some decent lines, but his character just has never pulled me in the investment that I wanted. Even though I love him in Blue, that whole training a raptor thing is not something I've ever really enjoyed in this plot line. To me, I look back at Jurassic Park, the raptors are vicious killing machines. They cannot be tamed, they cannot be trained, they cannot become your house pet, you cannot get them in line, and I will always stick with that. Even though I do know ultimately velociraptors were actually only the size of turkeys. So you guys, those are my thoughts on Jurassic World Dominion. Like I said, it's a mediocre film, decent spectacle. We do get to see some of the old cast. There are some strong points in this film. It is worth a watch, but you might want to just wait till it comes out on Redbox, to be perfectly honest with you. So yeah, that was my review of Jurassic World Dominion. Once again, you guys, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I've got all the information I shared with you guys earlier in the description box, tons down there as far as the sponsor of the channel, my Teespring store, and where any donations can be made, along with requests for content that you guys might want me to cover. And yeah, that would be it. I will see you guys on the next episode of Jeremy's Point of View. Until next time, peace.